Peace be upon you. Dear attendees, I, Asma Abdallah Zaid, your host from the Teacher Training Institute, I am pleased to welcome you to the 6th Arab Gulf Forum under the title Hybrid Learning, which comes in accordance with the rapid changes that sweeps the world and affects the educational process. We in the United Arab Emirates are blessed with a wise leadership that has an amazing vision and prospect. So we are honored to welcome Mr. Sean Thompson from the Digital Educational Unit in the MOE to give us a training workshop under the title Digital Tools for the Hybrid Learning. Our guest is a digital educator promoting the effectiveness of technology usage and enhancing the student learning. We are hoping that you will participate with us throughout the chat feature. And with the help of our guests, we will respond to all of your questions. The attendance link will be placed by the end of the meeting. Mr. Sean, please start your presentation.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this first session of the day. So just before I explain the aims of this session, obviously, hybrid learning is a new thing to everyone. So it is going to be a learning curve. Today's session is just covering a few tools, some of which you may have used before, and I'm just going to show you a few different ways and functions that there are for you to use to help with hybrid learning and what we're going to be doing this term. So the aims of the session are to introduce tools that can be used for hybrid and distance learning, give practical knowledge and skills using digital tools for hybrid learning, give practical examples of ways digital tools can be used effectively for hybrid learning. So I will try and explain different ways you can use the tools. Obviously, for you, when you're creating your lessons, it's very much dependent on the students, the subject, and what sort of type of teaching you deliver. So it is going to be very broad, but if anyone wants to contact me to discuss any specifics or have any support with designing any lessons, I'll give my email at the end of today's session and feel free to contact me. So the first thing I want to do is just discuss what is hybrid learning. So get some feedback from you guys to just understand what you think hybrid learning is. So if you could just use the QR code if you have a device in front of you, or you can go to menti.com. So I'll just give a minute to scan the QR code and then I'll show you exactly what you need to do from there on. Menti.com is one of the tools that I'm going to show you in a bit more depth as we go through this session. And it's a really good tool, especially for warm-up activities. So if you could just scan the QR code, I'll just give a few more seconds. To scan, if you have an Apple device, you can just open the camera and hold it over the QR code and it will give you a link that you just click to open. If you have Android, you need an app, so don't worry too much about doing that. Okay, so Menti.com is a great tool. It's new, a lot of people have started using it, and one of the things you can do is create word clouds. Okay, so if you've not scanned the QR code at the top, you can see the web address menti.com, and when you go to menti.com, you use the code 8879008 to access the word cloud to input your own feedback. So what I want you to do is just answer, what is hybrid learning? Just in a couple of words, just let me know what you think hybrid learning is. So I'll just give a few minutes for you to input that. Okay, so you can see they've started to come through now. Obviously, with a class, you could have 30 students in a class and you could get 30 words. You can determine how many times an individual can input into a word cloud. So we've got mixed, blended, combination, distance, passive and active, simultaneous. And as students keep adding in words, it just builds and builds and builds. And as a teacher, you can then take this as a PDF or a JPEG and keep it as your evidence. Okay, that's great. So you can see how this works. And the main thing here that I was looking for was blended. So blended learning and hybrid learning are two different things. So hybrid learning is synchronous learning, whether a student is in the classroom or if they are online through platforms such as Microsoft Teams. Blended learning is different because it is a mixture of in-classroom and online learning, which is asynchronous. So the main difference is hybrid learning is synchronous and blended is a mixture of synchronous and asynchronous learning. Hybrid learning, if you choose to, can have elements of online learning that is asynchronous. It is up to you how you deliver that. So that's just the main difference. Okay, so hybrid learning is an educational model where some students attend in person while others join the class virtually. So like I've just discussed, educators teach remote and in-person students at the same time using tools like video conferencing tools such as Microsoft Teams. In some cases, hybrid classes include asynchronous elements. So that's where the confusion can be with blended learning. But with hybrid, the focus is on synchronous. However, you can have asynchronous elements. So this includes things like online discussions, pre-recorded video instruction that then supports the face-to-face instruction that you've given or will give in the next lesson. A well-planned hybrid course gives you the best of each element of whether it's synchronous or asynchronous. So you choose as a teacher what you want to deliver in the way that you want to deliver it. So you can choose a specific activity or content that fits with face-to-face teaching. And if there's something that would be better online, you can then deliver it online. Okay, so how to create a successful hybrid learning environment. So the first thing to do is set your term goals. So I'm aware that some subjects give you this information. You may need to look at that and decide yourself. You need to map your curriculum. So again, I know you get provided with a lot of information. So map the curriculum out. Then determine what activities or content fit the offline portion. So that's the face-to-face classroom teaching. And then determine what fits with the online portion. So that may be something that you can deliver through video instruction. You then need to choose the digital tools. So that's the thing that we're going to focus on today. You should always choose a tool that fits the content and the activity. You should never try and force any content or curriculum to fit a digital tool, because then you're taking away from using what technology should be used for, and that's to enhance learning. If you try and make the content fit, then the technology is the focus when the content should be the focus. We then move on to create and source content. So there are lots of tools out there where you can create your own content, or there is existing content which you can use for your own purpose. Obviously, with any content that you use, you need to check and make sure it's appropriate. You then need to test your plan out. So that's something that you'll be doing over the next week or so. So don't be afraid to be flexible, change your plan. If a tool isn't quite working when you deliver your lesson, I'm here, like I said earlier, I will give you my email at the end and we can work together and support to tweak things if needed. But don't be afraid to use something, and if it doesn't quite work, you can then amend the way that you deliver it and make it work. Okay, so what digital tools do I use? So in this session, I'm not going to give you loads of tools for you to use. I'm just focusing on 3 or 4 and just try and give you an overview of how they can be used. But the important thing is to use any tools to enhance learning and engagement. Okay, so I've just shown you Mentimeter, and the students will access Mentimeter via the menti.com. For you as a teacher, you will go to mentimeter.com to create any resources that you want. So I'll just go on to Mentimeter. Okay, so you can see here, we have the Wordcloud, and this is a Wordcloud slide. So Mentimeter can replace PowerPoint. It's a slide deck, basically, that you can create interactive slides. So you can couple a tool like this with Microsoft Teams to create a lesson that you deliver synchronously, which allows for engagement with distance students that are learning online. Equally, if you have devices in your classroom, the students in the class can also interact with this. However, with something like a Wordcloud, the students who are learning online, distance learning, can interact with this. You just give them the website and the code. And if you have a projector, you can share your screen and project this Wordcloud onto your board or wall. And as a teacher, be interacting with the students in the classroom and writing manually on the Wordcloud as well. Obviously, just outside of the space that is being used online. So that's using a tool both manually and online to do the same activity. So the key is just planning out your lessons and making sure you're using something considering both aspects. But I would say keep them together, don't make them separate. So the activity should always be the same, you just maybe interact with them slightly differently. And you will get used to this method of delivery. So you can see here we have the Wordcloud, and I can download the results or I can reset. So if I just reset these. So you can obviously if you use this for one class, you can download the results. If you want to use it for another, just reset and then just download each time. You don't have to create different presentation slides each time. You can Okay, so if I just go to type, so we can use a Wordcloud for something like a warm-up activity like we've done today. And then we can cover theory, any theory that we need, and then we can add in some quiz questions. You've got multiple choice, there's open-ended questions, there's Q&A. You can rank certain things if that fits in with your content. You can use a scaling system. You can select answers, so just give them multiple choice, type answers if you need something a little bit more lengthy. You've got headings, paragraph, bullets, image, video, big, and these are just more for content based, theory based. And then you've got advanced, such as 100 points, 2x2 grid, quick form, and who will win. So quick form is for upgraded packages. You can use these on the basic package, which is free. And when I've created them before, I've been able to use a maximum of 6 interactive slides. So that should be more than enough to incorporate a warm-up activity, a few pieces of assessment within the lesson, and anything else that you want to do with that. So like I say, this is a really useful tool to create that interaction between yourself and the students online, or if you have devices in the classroom, also in the classroom as well. So you can use this as a slide deck for your whole lesson and couple it and share your screen with your students. The same as what I've done here. All I did was click present, shared my screen with the Wordcloud, explain what you needed to do, and then everything else is automatic. Okay, so that's mentimeter.com. The next thing is Microsoft Forms. I'm aware that a lot of people will have used this. However, it is very much underutilized. It's used for a feedback form or a basic quiz. There are a few extra features in there that you can use that will help with things such as differentiation. Obviously, forms is more to do with assessment, but there is a lot more you can do with forms. So again, I'll just share this QR code. Actually, I will share that afterwards. Let me just share my screen again. So I have a Microsoft form here, and you can see there's some responses from yesterday. And all I've done is pre-prepared 4 questions. And in what I've done when I've planned is I've planned the questions out, because if the student gets the first question correct, I don't want them to go to question 2 because it covers the same area. I need them to skip to question 3. Equally, if they get the question incorrect and they need some extra information to help them, it will take them to question 2. So hopefully you can see how that helps with differentiation, and rather than just getting the question wrong and moving to the next one, we can give them some extra information so it reinforces any learning that we've delivered during the lesson. And again, you can incorporate this in with any lesson that you deliver during a Microsoft Teams lesson. And you can create links to this quiz through LMS, which I'll show you later. So if I just click on question 1, what I've also done is just added some hints and tips or comments. So this is a really good tool to give feedback to your students. So you can give them feedback whether they got it correct or whether they got it incorrect. And if I click on it, you can see the button here, display a message to respondents who select this answer. So you just click that and type in any response that you want to give. I'm not going to cover any of the basic functions that you will have used before or highly likely to have used before. But if you see the 3 dots here, I can click on the 3 dots. And the 2 that I'm going to show you is add branching. And there is another option for a question where you can add a file. So if we click on add branching, it will take us to this page where we have all of our questions. So I've just done a very quick quiz that's 4. However, you can see that if the learner clicks true, it will take them to whichever question I choose. So if they get it click true, which is the incorrect answer, the correct answer is false. If they get it wrong, it will take them to question 2. However, if they get it correct and click false, I can choose to take them to question 3. And equally, if they get question 2 wrong or correct, I can take them to whichever question I choose. So just if you use branching, it's really good for differentiation, but you do need to plan your questions out carefully to understand how you're going to branch it. You can't just make a standard quiz. It just takes a bit more thought, but it will be far more effective in terms of keeping students engaged because they'll be motivated still, and you as a teacher being able to analyze these results. So if I go down again, you can see question 3. If they get it correct, it takes them to 4. And equally, if you want to then take them back to the question 1, when they get to the end and get it wrong, you can. So that is the branching tool. If I just go down to question 4, you can see here, create a poster that shows the benefits of hybrid learning. So this is a question type where students upload a file. So if I add a question and I click the drop down, you can see file upload. So that will create a question where the students are required to upload a file. Obviously, you would more likely to use this with older students. You can choose how many files they need to upload and the size of file that they can upload. So that just might be something that you can add into a quiz for maybe some extended writing or some form of picture or graph, but can be just a really useful tool to add into an assessment. Question 2 here is just a very simple question where I've added a picture in. So, apologies, I've just deleted that, but you can add a picture and ask questions around that picture, whatever content it contains. In that one, it was a extended writing, or it was a paragraph. So you could then choose whatever question to highlight the individual information in there. So I do apologize, I've just deleted it. So there is no picture in there now. Okay. I will just share this with you. So again, there's a QR code. So if you want to scan that, you can just see how the branching works. And I've designed it so that you can run through it a few times and just see if you give different answers, it will take you to different questions if you want to take a look from a student's point of view. So I'll just give you some time to scan that. So again, you can it's entirely up to you how you deliver this. If you want to include something like this for assessment, you can do it as part of synchronous learning for hybrid learning, or as part of asynchronous if you want to include a link into LMS or anything like that. Okay. So the next tool is EdPuzzle. So EdPuzzle is a platform which you can create video-based learning. The reason why I'm showing you this is because you can embed assessment and questions into a video. So you can create a video course of however many videos and embed questions, comments, or tips at any point that you want within that video. So you can create your own video and then upload it to EdPuzzle and embed the questions wherever you want. So you can cover a piece of theory and then have a question, and the students have to answer the questions before they can move on. Or equally, if you just want a hint, you can embed some text which gives them a hint before they can then move on. Obviously, this is more for asynchronous learning. However, I have used it for revision sessions as part of a group activity. Obviously, group activities with distance learning won't work very well, but you can use this within a classroom and direct the online students, giving them the link so they can do it individually. So there's two other things that, whilst we're talking about video-based learning, I'm not going to show you EdPuzzle because there's a lot of different features to show in such a short space of time. So I would recommend go on to edpuzzle.com and have a look at yourself at the various features that there are, and it's free, so you can use it, so much of it as a free platform, but you may benefit if you want to upgrade it. But I've used it totally free and been able to use it in a few different ways effectively. There is a library of resources that you can use, so you don't have to create your own content. There is a library on there, just check it for appropriateness, as you would not normally. So I'm just going to share my screen again. And whilst we're talking about creating videos, I use something, I create videos in two ways. So at the top of Google Chrome, I have an add-in, a plugin called Screencastify, which is free. And with this, with the free version, you can make videos up to 5 minutes long, and very easily and quickly. So you just click Screencastify and it will come with a drop down. Okay, so it's not going to show at the moment just because of the internet, but it gives a drop down, and what it will allow you to do is record your voice, record your webcam, and record your screen at the same time, or any of those options that you want. You can just record your voice, you can record yourself, or you can just record your voice and screen. So anything that is on your screen, you can narrate basically. So if you want to create some video tutorials to help students for asynchronous learning, then it's a really useful tool to quickly create videos. Then you can upload them to places such as EdPuzzle or like I said before, it's free. You can record up to 5 minutes long, and anything that you record gets uploaded to your Gmail account. So it can automatically get saved if you choose so. The other thing that I just want to show is on PowerPoint, which I know a lot of teachers use PowerPoints. If you have information in a PowerPoint that you've used in a lesson and you think, and you want to combine it with some asynchronous learning, an easy way to do this is to click slideshow, record slideshow, record from beginning or current slide, whichever you want. And then what you can do is have your, I think it's taken the screen share off, so I do apologize. Okay, so basically, if you just go to record from beginning, you can record yourself, but it's not allowing me to show you this, unfortunately. Okay, I do apologize. I think it's because of the screen share. It's not allowing me to show you it. But if you click record slide, record from, it will give you options to then record your webcam and your microphone, and you can go through each slide recording yourself, explaining whatever theory there is contained in the slideshow. So that's just something that you can use existing content that you have and turn it into a video. All you do once you've narrated it and had yourself narrating it, you can click File and then Export as a video. And then it will create a video for you, which you can upload to wherever you want. So that's just a really useful way of using existing tools that we have, such as PowerPoint. Okay, so I'll just stop there for 1 minute. And if anyone has any questions, I can take this time to just answer some questions. Okay, so can you name the application which you suggested for recording? So there are a few options. PowerPoint, like I just mentioned. There's another one called Screencastify, all one word. And the other one where you can upload videos is EdPuzzle. And I'll pop those in the chat before we end today's session. I'll give you a list. Okay. So yes, what you showed recording was that Microsoft PowerPoint. Yes, that was the PowerPoint that I've been using today. And you just click slideshow, and on the tabs, you can select record slideshow, choose whether you just want your voice, whether you want your voice and webcam, and then you can record yourself and clicking through each slide whilst talking, and then export as a video. So you just click File and Export. Again, if anyone wants to contact me after this session, then feel free and I can give you some one-to-one support. Can we use the ELEF platform for hybrid learning? So it really is up to you how you want to deliver hybrid learning. And if you use a certain platform, it's about the planning and the workflow and how you deliver each so it will be possible, as is LMS, and it's all about the planning and the delivery. Can you make differentiated videos? Sorry, that's just disappeared. Okay, so why don't you show how to create rather than showing an already made one? Unfortunately, it's only an hour session, so if I was going to show you how to create it from start to finish properly, we'd have to have a full PD session per one, which unfortunately we can't do. That's why I'm suggesting get in touch with me after the session and I can give you some one-to-one support and talk you through each step, because it does take some, thought. That's why I'm showing you where you can get to at the moment. If you want some extra support and talking through step by step, I don't mind doing that. In this session, we just don't have enough time, unfortunately. So tell us a little bit about Sway. Okay, so Microsoft Sway is a great tool that you could use for storytelling with students. And I would just say, check it out yourselves. Unfortunately, I wasn't going to include that in today's session, so I don't have anything prepared. But it allows you to create a storyline, as it were, of information where you can put different types of information in, whether that's video, text, links, anything like that that you wish. In terms of hybrid learning, that would take a lot more planning out to get feedback from the students and their engagement, because you as a teacher would have to look at each individual student's way. So that is more for classroom-based learning, really, from a student point of view. If you want to use it as a teaching tool, then it will be slightly easier. Okay, so yeah, if you're using Google Chrome browser, which Screencastify is a Google Chrome plugin extension, so you have to use Google Chrome to have Screencastify. Can we record a screen other than PowerPoint presentation using a PowerPoint screen recording? So you could use some Screencastify to record your screen whilst working through a PowerPoint presentation. With Screencastify, you can record your desktop, or you can choose to record individual applications that are open. So you could just select the PowerPoint application and record using Screencastify. Okay, can you show us how to use properly the Microsoft Forms branches? So again, if you wish, get in contact with me after the session, and I can, if you give me some content, I can talk you through how to do it step by step, and create some videos. What I will do is try and create some online resources for you to access that would take you through step by step. Unfortunately, the whole planning of a quiz for differentiated purposes, I can't just show you that, because it will take up a full hour just to demonstrate everything. You as a teacher, once you get used to it, it will be very quick for you to create it, because you know your content, you know your students. I would have to go through it very comprehensively in every single way that you could use it if I did that now. So how and where to find Screencastify? Again, Google Chrome extension. So you go to the Chrome store, Google store, and type in Screencastify, and it will. Are there any videos you've created which help with differentiation or group work? I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that, videos that I've created. So I've used videos and EdPuzzle with, and it's more about self-paced learning. Students can ask each other questions and explain theory when watching the videos, and work together through those videos, through the assessments as well in EdPuzzle. Can you please share a STEM lesson plan using hybrid learning? That isn't something that I have, I'm afraid. Like I said, this is giving you ideas, and when you need to apply it to certain subjects, then obviously I need to get one-to-one contact with you to talk through that. If anyone wants to do that, who is delivering STEM lessons and can then share that amongst your colleagues, that would be absolutely fine. But that would take some time to just discuss specifics with you. So I'll give my email at the end of today's session for anyone that wants to contact. Okay. Can you give examples of platforms that can be used for students who are online and those who are in the classroom without any technology? So if students are in the classroom without any technology, they can't use any platforms, I'm afraid, if they don't have the technology. So one thing that I've tried to do today is show you things that can be used online or offline in terms of how you deliver them. So as a teacher, if you're delivering and you want an assessment through forms, obviously online students can use that, and you would have to allow the student to use whatever devices there are, whether it's their own laptops. If they don't have that, you'd have to maybe let them use a link on your computer. But again, you don't have to do that. If you're using the technology with distance learning, engage the students yourself when you're teaching them in the classroom. So if they're answering questions using Microsoft Forms, you would just ask the students in the classroom the same questions. So you can talk through the Microsoft form yourself and get feedback from students whilst talking to them, and also get the online feedback by the students filling in the Microsoft form, if that makes sense. Because if they don't have any technology, they can't use a platform. Okay, so I'll give some chance to ask some more questions at the end. But I just would like to show you I know there's people asking about Aleph, Nearpod, things like that. Obviously, LMS is the ministry platform. So that is something that we recommend that needs to be used, but can be used in different ways. So here is just a very short example of a lesson that you could deliver synchronously whilst using LMS and something like Microsoft Teams. So we have obviously a link at the beginning to menti.com, which then just gives some instructions. So you would adapt this to meet your needs, your curriculum, and the students' levels. So you would just access this link. So you could then have this on your screen, talk them through it. Oh, you'll have menti.com already prepared, then share that, and then feedback synchronously. If you have need for video instruction, you can see here, I've just created a very basic video, me talking through the theory. So I've taken a portion of a PowerPoint, and you can see me at the bottom right hand corner talking through it, which if you have any, you can obviously use this synchronously as video instruction, or you could use it asynchronously as well. So I've tried to cover both ways to try and help you. So if there's any students that, for whatever, miss any lessons, they can then be directed to this lesson and still have the same learning. Again, this is just a portion of a PowerPoint that covers a certain amount of theory. And I think it's really important to have yourself on the screen so that the students can relate, even though it is asynchronous. I then added in a quiz, which follows any instructions, any theory covered in this video, so I can assess any learning that's taken place and then develop that in any future lessons if I need to. I've included a discussion. So again, if you're delivering this synchronously, you wouldn't have this discussion in here. You could use the chat function to elicit feedback from the students and have a discussion to the students that are online, and then write on the whiteboard the feedback you get from students in the classroom. Okay, so you could keep this in here if you wanted, but this is more for asynchronous. show you what you can do and the workflow. So if you're delivering synchronously, use the chat function to good effect, and then have yourself with the students in the classroom recording their answers on the board. We then have another video, which is another portion of theory with myself in the bottom. And again, I've created a quiz using Microsoft Forms with the branching tool, which gives me greater analysis of data and will inform my teaching and learning in any areas of need better than just a basic quiz. I'm aware that some subjects have content and activities made for them already within the banks in LMS, so you could then slide these in to relevant points of any lesson that you create. So when using LMS, you can create synchronous elements and asynchronous elements, and you could use both synchronously as well. So it just takes a bit of planning and thought on how you're going to deliver the content to meet the students' needs. Again, you don't necessarily need as much in as what I've done. This is just an example of different things you can include within LMS, using LMS functions, or outside tools with links created. And obviously LMS is a central place where you can bring everything together and students can access it as many times as they want. So it then creates that self-paced learning element as well. Okay, so we'll just end the session with any more questions that anybody has. And I will just put my email address into the chat box. Okay, so I do apologize if the session is going too quickly.
No, it was really beneficial.
As much. Okay.
It was really beneficial and enjoyable, honestly. And it's okay to end it, no problem.
Okay. So people are just asking for a list of tools. So I believe, does the chat function not show for everyone in this meeting? So what I will do is I will just share the final slide and hopefully people can get what they need from that.
Go ahead.
So the only ones to add into this are Screencastify. That is the only one that's not on this list. So we have Mentimeter, EdPuzzle, obviously LMS, PowerPoint for making videos, and Microsoft Forms. So again, my email's there. If you contact me about specifics and individual things, I'm more than happy to talk through anything that anybody needs.
Yes. At the end of this meeting, we can only thank our distinguished guest for his presentation and his valuable ideas. We hope that you gained knowledge and potentially able to apply it in the field of education. Finally, we would like to thank you for your presence and interaction and hoping that you will stay with us into the next meeting, in which Dr. Adib Jarrah will be presenting a workshop under the title STREAM Makes Learning Fun. Interrogated learning promotes cognitive well-being and future skills, which will begin in a matter of 10 minutes. Thank you.